So this is the HP Pavilion Plus, and I reviewed this laptop when it first came out a few years ago. And at that time, it was one of the best deals you could buy in tech. But this was a time when the prices of laptops were really high and supply was in demand. Now don't get me wrong, this new HP Pavilion Plus is a really good laptop. Like, it is using the Ryzen 7 7840U CPU. It has a gorgeous 2.8K OLED display. It cost around $12.19, but HP is discounting it to about $9.99 over the holiday season, so the price point is very attractive. But it has one little problem, and it's not hardware or anything like that. It's the fact that there are so many good deals happening right now that it's really hard to buy a brand new laptop that just came out on the market. I know this next part is sponsored by Best Buy, but my point still holds true. Like, for example, you can pick up a Lenovo Yoga 7i 2-in-1 14-inch laptop with a 2K display, an i5 CPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM. This is a product that was retailing for $900. But right now you can pick it up for $600. If you always wanted a Samsung Galaxy Book 360, this has been discounted by $550. This is a product that usually retails for $1550, but right now it's on sale for $999. We're talking about a product that also has an OLED display. Even Asus is discounting a lot of their laptops. You can get one of their 15-inch OLED laptops with a 2.8K display, an i9-13900H, an RTX 3050, for only $1050. This is $250 off. Even the Alienware M16, which just came out, has an RTX 4080, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and an i9 CPU. Usually retails for $2,700. You can now pick that up for $2,200. And that's the point. There's just so many good deals happening right now because there's tons of inventory. And it's not that the HP Pavilion Plus is a bad product. It's actually quite good. It's just coming out at the wrong time. And look, I like this thing a lot. Like, it's using all recycled aluminum, so it's helping the environment. It still feels fairly premium. There's a little bit of lid flex on the top. It's nice and light, so you could like carry this everywhere you go. It only weighs 1.44 kilograms. Its ports are pretty good. You know, like, you have a headphone jack on the left, USB-A port, and then on the right-hand side, you have another USB-A port, full-size HDMI, and then 2 Type-C ports. Obviously, one is used to charge it. I also love the fact that HP didn't skimp out and use the old barrel connectors. They're going full USB Type-C. They even made some updates to this model compared to the previous one. Like, for example, when you open it up, the color of the keyboard is no longer silver. Apparently, this was a big complaint on the previous model because the silver keys made it very difficult to see the backlighting since it kind of blended in. Now they're black, or grayish black rather. They even increased the font size so that you can see the letters a little bit more, and the keyboard still feels very good. Like, there's a little bit of flex in the middle, but I've felt worse in other laptops, but overall HP does have a very good keyboard. The touchpad is nice and big, probably my least favorite thing about this laptop. It's not the most accurate touchpad. Feels a little cheap, but it's fine for most use cases. Even the AMD sticker guy's on point this time. Like, everything is nice and neat. They added a mute button, which wasn't on the previous model as well. And like, look, this laptop is all about the display. Like, we're talking about a 2.8K OLED display, 120 hertz. It's a dynamic OLED display, so you can switch it between 60 or 120, or it can do it automatically if you unplug it and go onto the battery, but you have that option. And look, it's gorgeous. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing on this, it's going to look good on this display. It's a glossy panel, so it will pick up a lot of reflections, but you can totally trust this for any sort of content work because the color gamut is good, the color accuracy is good, and the screen brightness is just over 400 nits. Even the webcam is good. Like, we're talking about a webcam that has a kill switch at the top, but is also 1440p. So right now you're looking at the 1440p webcam on the HP Pavilion Plus. I'm sitting right in front of the window, so I have lots of natural lighting, so it should look good. But more importantly, let me know how the microphone sounds. Now, the speakers are on the bottom of the laptop. They actually do sound pretty good, but obviously not as good as front-firing speakers. I like the fact that they're on the bottom front instead of the bottom sides, as the sound does hit you more directly. But look, the performance on this is what you'd expect. I still think it could be a bit better just because I've tested other laptops with the 7840U CPU, and the Framework 13 does beat it out in some instances, and same with the Acer Swift Edge 16. If we're talking about Photoshop, it handles anything in Photoshop absolutely fine. I wouldn't be buying this to edit 4K video all day long, but if you absolutely need to, you can jump in the program, make a couple of edits, and get your work done. Now, this is obviously not a gaming laptop, but you do have the RX 7800M inside of it, and you could play some older titles as long as you're okay dropping the settings a little bit. Fan noise is pretty consistent. Like, they do come on, but not as quick as Intel CPUs, and the loudest the fans will get in this laptop, no matter which profile you have it on, balanced or efficiency or best performance, the loudest it will get is 46 decibels. Now, HP is being very conservative with the thermal in this laptop. Like, for example, it doesn't get that hot at all, like 65 to 70 degrees Celsius when this thing is completely under full load. And when you take a look at the average core clock speeds, they are lower than other laptops like the Framework 13 and even the Acer Swift Edge 16, which is a bigger computer with the same processor. And that's fine. I mean, you're not buying this to crush 3D edits or anything like that. Like, you're buying this for good battery life, a quiet experience, a good display, basically for productivity, right? And it nails that kind of stuff. But if you're trying to push this thing to its full potential, there are faster laptops on the market. I should also mention it does have AMD's AI features baked into this. And when I say AI, it's basically one thing. You can blur the background on your webcam, it will auto frame, and you can obviously use the eye contact feature, which basically keeps your eyes focused on the camera, even if you're looking somewhere else. But there's no other AI features that come with this CPU. Now, getting inside the laptop is very easy. There's just 4 screws and you are in. But here's the weird thing, okay? When I opened this up, I thought I had 2 fans. I'm like, wow, they're doing like a reverse fan situation. One fan is going one way, the other one's going through the other side. But then I flipped over the laptop and there's no vent where the keyboard is, so it didn't make sense. What HP has done here is use an older chassis from another device which had 2 fans, but removed one of them because I took this off and notice there's no fan here. Now, personally, I think this laptop could have benefited from 2 fans if you wanted the extra performance, but if it had 2 fans, you would get more fan noise. Either way, it's a decoy. It's just there for visual symmetry, maybe save a little bit money to not have to put an extra fan inside. You do have your 1 copper heat pipe going across the top. You do have your drive over here. This is removable. You can upgrade it to something bigger if you really want to. Swappable Wi-Fi card. RAM is soldered onto the motherboard, so whatever model you get, that RAM will stay consistent throughout its entire life. But you do have a fairly big 68 watt-hour battery, where it actually got pretty good battery life, over 11 hours of use before needing to charge. Look at this. I'm bleeding, okay? These are the type of sacrifices I make to get inside these laptops. But joking aside, I do like the HP Pavilion Plus. Great screen, good battery life, good keyboard, lots of ports. It's quiet, but it just has a timing problem. There are just so many great deals to be had right now for a lower price point that just give you more. Now, don't get me wrong, HP is discounting this specific SKU to $919 at some point, but I still feel like it's too high compared to what else is on the market. If this ever drops around to $800 or $850, then I'd say pick it up right away. But yeah, it's just bad timing, because there's so many good things about it. Links to all these products will be in the description down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.